Welcome! Yay! Welcome everyone to Unsung Heroes. As you can tell, Chris and I are totally stoked about our guest tonight. And we're almost ready, right? So I'm Cynthia Vergon.
I'm Chris Wilrich. I don't know what you're doing.
I don't know either. I'm so excited. I don't know either.
Who's our guest, Cynthia?
What?
Who's our guest?
Oh my God, our guest. I've been teasing. I've honed the art of the tease.
Oh right,
but
really?
Before I give in to the tease, please subscribe to the channel, to TETV. Get your check the likes, turn on notifications. Yes, on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. God, we're everywhere. Anyway, our guest is Justin Stucey. And I'm so excited to have him on the show today. I think it's really cool. So there you go.
So everyone needs to get their masks and capes ready. But first, I had a thought.
All right.
So I was thinking about Cinderella because I like Disney, and that's one of those little things that I do. And now, if the shoe fit perfectly, why did it fall off in the first place?
Well, if the shoe fit perfectly, why did it fall off in the first place? Well, okay, so it's a high heel, right? It's an escarpin, as we say in French, and there's nothing that holds the shoe inside, you know, the foot inside the shoe. There's like no strap. And so when you're walking and running, you can lose, your heel can like flip out. And these are girl problems, Chris. These things happen.
Every time that I've ever seen a lady lose a heel, the other one immediately gets kicked off. Because otherwise you're running like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But see, Cinderella is so princess-like that even on one shoe, on one heel, she's so graceful and runs into her pumpkin carriage, and she doesn't even notice. That's how cool she is.
Right. Well, if that's your answer, should we bring on our rather special guest today and ask Justin's opinion?
It's true. I didn't have time to think about that one, which is the point of our shower thoughts. Yes, Justin.
What's up, y'all?
Hello, Justin. Welcome to Unsung Heroes.
Good to see y'all.
So, Justin, what is your thoughts on the matter? If the shoe fit perfectly, how or why did it fall off?
It's so funny when you said that. I was like, "Ooh, that's actually a good question." And then I was looking at Cynthia. I was like, "Certainly, Cynthia's gonna have an answer." I don't know. Let's see. Let's think about it. I think, I think there is something. I may or may have not been known to wear women's shoes on occasion.
I was going to ask what's your thoughts on heels and have you ever had one fall off, but I didn't want to take a wild stab in the dark. I've never done that. My feet are too big. There is absolutely no chance I could. And I've tried skiing. I can't manage skis. So yeah. I thought heels would be like standing on a big, long, flat thing. I can't manage that. So standing on a point, definitely can't. So how did they fall off? Why did it fall off?
I might say, maybe Cynthia, I think you're onto something. When you're running in heels, I may or may not have ever ran in heels before. When you're running in heels, sometimes things can wiggle a little loose and like, oh, I just lost it. And it is one of those things.
Yeah, you just move with it. You deal. Nothing can stop you when you're on the track to do something, you got to get to the pumpkin carriage, because otherwise your godmother's going to screw everything up and your whole cover is going to be gone. Your godmother is going to, your stepmother's going to make you clean I don't know what in the house. And you're like, I got to get into this place. I am not stopping for that other shoe. And you just keep on wobbling down. So, but Dave Hall did have a very interesting point. I don't know if you guys saw that in the Kelly, our producer, put that up. Exactly. Her feet would have been swollen. Totally. Because she put on the shoe early in the evening and she's been standing up for God knows how many hours. And of course her feet got swollen because, honey, she's not 16 anymore. She's what, like 19 now? Huh. That's when
you're saying when it gets big, it just pops right out.
Yeah. I hate you.
Finding the holes.
Anyway, so should we move on and park that one?
Yes, let's park our shower thoughts.
Oh.
So, Justin, why don't you introduce yourself? You have free reign, please.
Oh, introduce myself. Yeah, well, you said my last name correct, so which is awesome. Justin Stucey. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, a Texas guy. I turned 40 this year, which is amazing. Which has been kind of a bit of a mind fuck, but I'm figuring it out. I love theater. I love champagne. Love chatting with y'all. What else would you like to know?
Very cool. And how is it that you got into the themed experience sector? Tell us the journey. Give us
that's actually a really good question. So admittedly, full disclosure, I'm a kid who grew up in the summertime going to theme parks. My parents would use it as a piece of leverage for me to hopefully make good grades, which was hit or miss sometimes. Just to be honest, I wasn't always the smartest kid in the class, but I made it through and I found my way. So yeah, we would go to Disney World in the summertime, and those in Universal Studios and SeaWorld and all those things. So it always was one of those things that it was a part of my life. But as I kind of grew up, as it were, and got out of school and started my journey, it wasn't something where I just immediately jumped into themed entertainment. My background is in theater. I studied audio engineering and music in college. So I kind of started this journey from working within regional theater and opera. So themed entertainment is actually something that I've somewhat recently kind of come back around to. It's been a really interesting journey, to say the least.
I bet.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I've got Chris take over. I'm coughing.
So that's sort of the upbringing sector. So when you were growing up and finding your way in the world, what was influencing you, and what influences led you down the path that you've taken to get to where you are?
Yeah, I'd probably have to say a lot of curiosity. When we're born, we're dropped into this world to just figure out where the hell we are, what's going on, what are we doing, what are we supposed to do. We look to all these different examples. But kind of what I was discovering as I was growing up was that there weren't examples that I necessarily fully saw myself in. So the journey kind of became figuring out where are those examples of those things, and kind of what I've learned is that it's less about trying to find it in other things and other people, but it's about trying to define it within yourself through relationships and experiences that you have. So I think as a consequence, I've had a really matrixed and interesting career where I've just done a variety of different things And I've found myself kind of I found myself on the other end of a journey where it's like I was just a dude who just liked theater. And now I see myself as an artist, as someone who is driven to create things for the purpose of connecting people and making the world a better place. So, but I wouldn't have been able to get to that point if it wasn't for the journey of exploration. So lots of things.
If you could pick like one or two pivotal moments or pivotal decisions that you made in your life that brought you to where you are, or that really defined who you are as a human being, could you tell us about one or two of those?
Yeah, for sure. Kind of the first is getting my first professional job working in live entertainment. I was 18. I grew up in Northwest Houston. And we had a theme park at the time in Houston called Astroworld, Six Flags, which no longer exists. And I grew up in the suburbs, and I was like, man, I want to get the hell out of here. So going to the other side of town, if you've ever been to Houston, Houston is massive. You literally can drive for an hour and still be in the city. So I had a friend of mine who I worked with. I don't think I had a car or something was up, but he actually ended up taking me to a job interview at Six Flags. I didn't even know how to get there because I just lived in North Houston and existed there, played there, whatever. And so I got this job interview, and the entertainment manager, Terry Overstreet, I've talked to him in years. I had an interview with him, and I knew that I wanted to go out for a tech theater position because I'd done that kind of thing in high school. But I had no experience. I was like, shit, how am I gonna do this? Which is something that became a part of my career journey. But I studied for like a week and just basically like memorized like all of these like technical terms for like audio and lighting and like all the textbook things. And so I went in with Terry, and he was like, okay. So he's like looking at my resume that had like nothing on it. And he was like, okay, so tell me about this. And I just basically just recited back like textbook terms. And he's like, okay, so you've never actually worked with any of these things? I'm like, oh shit, he got me. But in spite of that, you know what? He gave me a job, and that was my first introduction into the world of professional entertainment, and it kind of set the journey.
Yeah.
I
think you and I share that part of our career is things happen outside of your comfort zone, and if you've never done it, it doesn't mean that you can't do it.
That's good.
And it's something that I learned late in life. I'm so happy that you learned it and implemented it so early in your life. But I mean, I learned it when I was 45, 6.
Wow.
So it's and since then it's been liberating, and I can imagine how wonderful it must feel when you're young and having that attitude of God, the magic that you can create, and look at what I know what you've done. So yeah, so cool.
Well, I mean, it's scary. It's definitely one of those things. It's cool on paper, but it's scary IRL. It's like, because mixed within all of that, it's like, you have times where your project fails. You have times when you get fired. You have times when, just life happens and it just kind of pulls you out of your thing, and you have to continue to make the decision, like, am I going to keep going in this direction, exploring this direction, or am I going to just redirect and explore a different path that's easier, that's more traditional? Yeah, it's just a journey, really.
So then what are some of like the challenges that you've had to deal with, whether that be going for a job or like part of a job or losing a job?
Yeah, I've had all of those. It took me a long time to be able to have to be comfortable enough to be able to say that, I've been fired before. I've had projects that have failed, but I don't look at that as a bad thing, because in, you know, all the situations that come to mind, you know, they really were opportunities where I either needed to learn something about myself, about my ego, or about my view of the world, or my lack of view of the world, or it was something that I thought that I was fully equipped to do. And I realized that I wasn't, and that's okay, because so much of life is just entering into things that you know absolutely nothing about, and making your best judgment, doing your best. All you can do is your best, right? So, but yeah, there definitely is this one thing that project that kind of comes to mind, where it was a pretty high profile failure. I'm not going to say which one it is, because it's a big brand that everyone knows. And you know what? Actually, I didn't screw it up. It was a technical flaw that took some time figuring out. But yeah, that was really difficult for me.
I don't want to know what it was, but obviously we can't.
Of course, we want to know what it was, but
that's the project there, actually. But yeah, I think in the case in this particular thing here, you know, I called myself, you know, doing the right thing. So, you know, I hired one of the top AV production companies in the country. You know, they do production for the Oscars and the Emmys and all sorts of wonderful live events. We worked with an incredible video producer who, you know, ran around the city, all around New York, and captured all this great content. There was an interactive component to what you saw there. So we had some programming some programming that went into making it an interactive in an outdoor space. And it was like all the pieces were there. The creative was kind of cool, and it was edgy and provocative. And then so you know, we went as far as, like, as you saw there, like, we're in this warehouse kind of testing it out, wanted to make sure that it all worked how it worked, kind of find the bugs. And then, you know, fate happens. You get the thing out there, you set it up, and shit, it's not working the way that it was intended, designed to. Yeah, and I would even wager to say, from a design standpoint, you know, there were certain aspects of the design finish that did not have the level of polish that I would have wanted. So I think in all those things, just from a creative producing and creative direction standpoint, I really I learned some really hard lessons. And you know, you can't always rely on, you know, spending a lot of money, working with the best. You know, you really just have to do your best. You have to put your heart into it, and you have to just try to learn from your mistakes and be very transparent with yourself about what you're looking at and what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah,
I'm going to just have caught Kelly unawares there. Hi, producer Kelly. Sorry. Well, just thinking that what you were just saying there, Justin, suits rolling straight into another one of our lovely questions. So I was going to say, what's you said about something hardest, but that's oh shit, that's my bad. I meant number 5.
We're lost. Where are we? We're lost in our show.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
It's live.
It's alive. Oh. Okay.
Oh, my biggest I put the wrong number in. So, what is the hardest lesson that you've learned so far? And let's have a really nice, detailed answer to it.
The hardest lesson I've learned so far. I've learned many hard lessons. So that's hard to say. I would say the hardest lesson to learn is something that I have to think about and I have to challenge every day, which is facing and confronting ego in how I interact with those around me, how I interact with my work. It's constantly challenging why I am putting effort or energy towards doing something, saying something, answering in a certain type of way. And it's constantly just keeping that at the forefront of the mind, so that, you know, from a work standpoint and also from a humanity standpoint, I'm always in service to someone else or to something else. If I'm working, I'm in service to the story. I'm in service to the project. If I'm talking to you as a friend, I am serving you as a friend, just as I would want you to serve me as a friend. And through that exchange, we're able to develop trust, and love, and compassion. And those are the things that I want to have in relationship. Those are the things that I want to have within my creative development processes. So that means I've got to manage this thing, right? Or this thing, or however it works. I don't know. We don't know what the hell's going on. Figuring it out. Ooh, Lola.
Lola's gotta burn.
Oh,
Oh God!
clap back. Clap back.
You'll have to tell us about Lola sometime.
She's a nurse, so at the moment I've got no shots to fire at her because they're all doing such a good job.
Thank you, Lola.
Thank you.
Anyway, Lola. We'll have talks later.
So I wanted to get back onto your career. You know, we know that you're at Meow Wolf now. What were your career milestones? Like, what were the big things that, you know, brought you to do this now, where you're at?
Yeah. I don't know if it were actually project based, per se. I've never really, you know, when I've gone into interview things, you know, they kind of ask me, you know, what have you done? But in the past sort of 5 years, it's been more about like understanding, you know, how I think and why I think that way. And I think that's kind of what sells me forward. But I would say career milestones, some cool stuff that I've had an opportunity to do. When I was, I guess, about 20, I was an apprentice at Santa Fe Opera. And those were formative years for me. I had not spent much time outside of Texas. I went to a 2-year college in just outside of Houston, and you know, I kind of had a somewhat limited view of the world. So when I got to Santa Fe, you know, it's this beautiful facility that produces, you know, incredible art. And I was working at the Alley Theater prior to that, before getting the apprenticeship. And I remember seeing this posting. They had like this board backstage about all these different things that were happening. And we had our production manager at the time. She was saying, yeah, you know, I was an apprentice at Santa Fe, and there were a couple of other people were starting to talk about it. And I didn't know anything about it. And so they're like, yeah, you know, you should. I'm like, I don't do opera. You know, that's not my thing. I want to, you know, do cool shit, you know. But it turned out that, you know, I got to do some really incredible stuff there. I engineered a world premiere, audio engineered a world premiere for a new opera that aired on PBS, which was really amazing. You know, I got a chance to just work with some incredible talent, like people who have gone on now, friends of mine, you know, who work on Broadway and in Hollywood and stuff like that. I'm still figuring my shit out. You know, just, so those were very formative years. I've met the Queen of England. I was hoping I could find that picture. Me and my buddy Rodrigo. Oh yeah, I went to, so that's Aubrey Lynch. He's one of my mentors and dear friends. He was in the original cast of Lion King. He was the dance captain at the time. And so he invited me to the 20th anniversary, and I got a chance to meet Julie Taymor, who was an inspiration of mine. That was kind of a full circle moment. Let's see. Yeah, just lots of really random, unique things, but just saying yes, keeping yourself open and seeing where it takes you.
I had
Rodrigo, go there.
Well, you have a direct question for you there. Are you talking about working on cruise ships?
Yes, I spent many years on cruise ships. These are the great, not the great years. It was a bit of a blur. If you've worked on cruise ships, you'll understand that. But yeah, when I worked on cruise ships, whoa!
Is Rodrigo in this picture?
Rodrigo is not in that picture. He might have taken the picture. I don't remember. I'm trying to think when that was from, but
it looks like you're hitting an absolute banger of a note there, like a top shelf, very high little note as you're just like pow, and everyone else is just.
I don't know. Who knows what was
going on? Sing, so I won't try.
Some drunken mess. But yeah, the cruise ships were awesome. I mean, the interesting thing about that time, I spent a lot of time on ships, kind of off and on for years. I would come on for 4 or 6 months and then go away, go back and work at the alley. I've done probably more than 200 productions of Christmas Carol in my life. So, but yeah, cruise ships were interesting because I remember very vividly being on a ship behind a soundboard or lighting desk or something and watching a show. I'm not gonna say which cruise line I was on and which show it was. I think I could do this. I think I could produce a show. I think I could make a show. And it wasn't that it was bad, but I think it just was just the reality that things were just kind of starting to come together in my brain about, using all of my knowledge and my experiences to create things. I didn't see myself as an artist at that time. I was just a dude, young in my 20s, just wanted to party and, figure out my life. Oh, my dudes, yeah. This was my first contract, the backstage guys. I was the backstage manager. And yeah, if y'all know anything about ships, you know that like ships are held down by like people from India and from the Philippines. So these were my brothers. We worked together, we played together, I learned from them. Great memories.
That's great.
The beaming grins in all of all of your photos are just like, let's do a deep dive into that and tell us all of the things about it and all of these people. But you were you were talking about sort of creativity and process, and we were talking in our pre-production call as we have about a term that I'd never heard until you said it, which was Afrofuturism. And then we went off on a little tangent, and I'd just like to go back to that a little bit and discuss it and get your thoughts, because it was interesting at the point, and I was like, we need to park this and actually talk about it live as opposed to me finding out now.
Yeah, totally. And you know what? In all fairness, something else we kind of talked about offline, just about a lot of stuff. There's so much information out there. There's so much stuff that we are not taught. There's so much stuff that we don't know, that we don't have access to. We can't know everything. So, I read a lot. I study a lot of different things, but I am by no means a scholar in a scholar in. Did y'all see that?
No.
I love you, Cynthia. You're so good.
We're just doing the two opposite ends of the spectrum there. Cynthia's just like, we'll let that go, and I'm just like,
But yeah, so like I'm not a scholar, but I as of late, I have been kind of like exploring a bit more into Afrofuturism, and from the perspective of really just sort of understanding the core of what it is, and opportunities for me to use that creative philosophy in my own work. So I guess just to speak directly to it with Afrofuturism, what has drawn me the most to it, it's this idea, it's that it's this world that exists, that is that does not have a colonial past. So with colonialism or colonization, there's a lot of things that happened today as a result of things that happened long ago, that we're still trying to clean up, we're still trying to figure out, we're still trying to root out. And with Afrofuturism, it really kind of seeks to, in an entertaining way, to sort of highlight on the other side of the spectrum, if these things did not exist, and so what that might look like. And of course, as we saw in, like Black Panther, you still have protagonists and antagonists, you still have good people, you still have people who do bad things. But it removes things like the exploitation of people, the theft of people, the theft of their culture, the exploitation of their culture, the theft of their land. Even with Afrofuturism, which I think is a relatively new genre, I think from the 90s. There's also a trend that's happening in storytelling, indigenous futurism, which speaks through the cultural lens of the Native American, of our Native American friends and family. Which coincidentally, within the Meow Wolf exhibit that we're building right now, I have a couple of artists who are creating through that lens. And similarly, like Afrofuturism, it envisions a world that does not have a past where people have been conquested. By contrast to Afrofuturism, technology is not something that is at the forefront of indigenous futurism, because their philosophies about life and culture are rooted in different things. So yeah, that's kind of like a high level sort of look. And I don't know, I find it very inspiring to think about, oh shit, like a world that did not have, someone coming to take something from someone else that did not belong to them, or take over, or to commandeer, and how that could affect the future.
Are there experiences that exist already that we can go experience to get a taste
through
of
that lens and experience it through that same mentality? That we're not putting, well, we are putting you on the spot a bit here.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think when Meow Wolf Denver opens, y'all should come and check it out. I'm not trying to plug Meow Wolf, but if you really want to see what it is through a contemporary, right now sort of lens about, how that's interpreted, and you look at the art and you experience the space and all the decisions that have been included within that space, then you'll start to get pieces of that narrative that has been woven into the creative work. I personally would love to be able to get a project one day where I'm able to explore that experientially, because I think it is really cool. It kind of levels the playing field in a lot of ways.
I agree, David. Bravo.
He's the other side of the wall behind the camera.
Yes. So along the lines of learning new things, because I, like Chris, did not know what Afrofuturism was, and I never shy away from saying that I don't know things. And one of the things that we talked about in our pre-show preparation call was ontological design. And I would really like you to explain. I'm sure that just like in any class, when you raise your hand, you have a question, there's no stupid questions. And I'm sure that someone that's listening doesn't know what ontological design is either. So could you run us through it and explain what it is? Yeah,
totally. And this is another sort of example of something. What were you going to say, Chris?
I wasn't going to say anything. I was reading comments and looking around, being like, hang on, have I thought of this and that? And I was just, while Cynthia was talking, because I knew from the discussion we got what she was going to say. So I was like, this is my break. I can focus on this and decide what I'm doing next, and then be ready for Justin's answer. And then he went, Chris, what are you saying? I'm like, what my day is it? Oh, God.
You seem like you had something, and I was like, where's he going? Where are you going? Where are you going?
You're Bombay. What does that mean?
Oh,
You're Bombay. That's from Wakanda, isn't it? That's Black Panther.
Oh goodness, I need to see that movie again because I saw it once in the theaters and I haven't seen it again. So I need to go see that again.
it's beautiful.
I need to go see that. I need to see that on my TV again.
On your Disney Plus.
That's absolutely a fantastic film because it's hitting the Marvel universe, but it made such a difference, I think, globally, culturally.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a trendsetter. It'll be interesting to see more, but it'll be
right. Ontological design.
Sorry. So yeah, ontological design. This is another sort of new-ish sort of thing that I've been design philosophy that I've been exploring. With the philosophy of ontology. It deals with understanding and exploring the state of being or the state of becoming. Actually wrote a little something down here because I wanted to make sure I got it right. And the design philosophy, one writer kind of explained it like this. By designing our environment, we design our consciousness. By curating our perception, we are designing reality. By designing objects, we are designing people. And so, from a themed entertainment or, producing standpoint, the way that sort of translates to me is, what can I introduce into an experience that allows people to interact with a story or within a story world, and that interaction reflection from the story world is a way that affects them in a positive light. So just to go a little further, I guess, creatively, what that might look like from my standpoint is, the reason that I like to create experiences because I like things that bring people together. And within the process of bringing people together, I want to look at it a little further. So it's like, how can we bring strangers together, and how can strangers have positive experiences with one another? How can people show kindness to one another and to strangers in such a way that is non-threatening, in a way that they can choose to opt in to do or to passively watch? I think that there's a lot of value in the pattern behavior of doing goodwill and good deeds. So from a themed entertainment perspective, that might look like, a community engagement piece that engages the elderly community, people in nursing homes. That's a group right now that a lot of people are not thinking about, they're not talking about. But just could you imagine if you're 60 years old, living through COVID in a nursing home, which is already challenging, and not truly having a window to the outside world. You don't really know how to use technology. You may or may not have family or friends that come and visit you. Family and friends probably can't come and visit you. So is there an opportunity to create, through story, through experience, connections for strangers to connect authentically within these realms? I think green spaces, environmental things also have opportunities for us to develop ways to have random acts of kindness that guests can participate in. And really kind of the whole reason to do it is it feels good to do good things. It creates happiness. And happiness is not something that you have to pay $130 a ticket to get in somewhere to experience. It's something that you can create for yourself. So within themed entertainment, if we can sort of interject these opportunities that create happiness, that do good and perpetuate positive things, then people not only will take those behaviors with them, but they'll also take these beautiful new memories that they've made with strangers, and it starts to reconstruct in their brain this idea of connecting with the world around them.
And I think we, as the theme experience industry, can be on the leading edge of delivering these kind of experiences and cultural experiences as well that aren't generic. And I think the worst thing that we get across most of the attractions we can go to, they're not very specific. They're very generic, and something Disney has done it very well all the time. Taking a story that everyone understands and generically can be part of, as opposed to coming in as a guest to a culture or a different space, and taking, like you said, green spaces and getting people to go and interact in a nice, environmentally friendly space, as opposed to sticking a VR headset on their head and saying, "Have at it."
Right.
They're completely different things. For me, it lacks emotion, and I hate VR because it lacks connection. I'm going off on a way big tangent that we don't have booked or anything. But I'd much rather go sit in a park on a bench, something as simple as that, with someone that I've never met and get to know them a little bit, than I would put on a VR headset and do the VR chat, which is apparently a thing on Twitch at the moment, and you get people just randomly chatting through the internet. That's what we're already doing. We don't need a 3D platform to do it. Give me a tree and a bush, maybe a little swan. I mean, much nicer.
A lake. We need a lake or a pond,
Well,
Come
the
to
swan
Etsy.
wouldn't be there if there wasn't a lake and a swan. Lake and a river, whatever, something.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So what's this, Justin?
This is cool. This is Taps and Tails. So before I worked at Meow Wolf, I was the creative director of guest experiences at Denver Zoo. And one of the first events that I developed and produced there was this one. It was a highly collaborative event between myself and the creative director for marketing, and as well as community artists, local breweries, and really it kind of was like my first sort of big step into exploring what it is to sort of bring people together in a way that they can have educational moments of education, plenty of moments of fun, of course, beer, good food, music, create culture and community. And so the result was this, which was great. It was a 21 and up event. This was the animal onesie party, which was dope. It was a good time.
Oh man,
it was great. People came, had fun, they learned about animals, met friends, got some dates, got some numbers.
Did you go, and what onesie did you wear?
I did go, and I had a lot of fun. And I think I wore a unicorn onesie.
Nice. Excellent.
My spirit animal.
Excellent. Oh, that's wonderful. I love having I love the idea of having a unicorn spirit animal. I think, and I think you certainly, through your artistic creativity, you oh yeah, I can totally see that. That's cool.
What's your spirit animal, Cynthia?
Just my spirit.
We're tangenting again.
I've never. Well, we love tangenting, so I don't know what it. I don't know. Maybe I like eagles. I've always been so amazed at eagles, and I don't know. Is it the flight? Is it the span of the wing? Is I don't know. It represents the freedom. I don't know.
Have you seen one in real life, like in person?
I have, and it's incredible. It's wow. It's beautiful. I think I the last one I saw was at Puy du Fou in France, at their bird show. They have an incredible bird show. If you've never been to Puy du Fou, you need to come to France. Puy du Fou. It's a live entertainment theme park. Historical theme park on the history of the Vendée region in France. And the Vendée region, we are totally going off on a tangent. The Vendée region is known to be, I don't want to make anyone angry that's going to listen to this that's from Vendée, but maybe I won't. The Vendée region is known to not have supported the French Revolution. So they are royalists, monarchists, and they did not agree with what was happening back in the day. And so this park was fully was fully financed by this guy from Vendée that didn't want to use public funds because he didn't want to be in a box by them saying, well, we're paying for this, so you can't tell the story the way you want it to. So he decided that he was going to tell the story the way he wanted to tell it with his own money, and everyone just shut up. And he's a controversial character that I won't get into here.
Later.
Maybe on off I can get into it, but we're not getting into it here.
Let's just go with, it's kind of, I say it English, Puy de Fou. That's as far as I'm going. I don't put on accents. Unless it's American and I'm taking the mickey. But yeah.
It's your American accent, Chris. I know you got one. I know you got one.
we need to be doing not serious stuff right now. Yeah. I don't want to offend any of the Karens that might be watching.
That's the sassy side I like. I like it.
Yeah, so I have been to said French park, and it's incredible. I have to say, I did that park on a stinking hangover after a sate at Park Asterix. We flew there, and I didn't know what time we were flying. It was hell as far as I was concerned, doing all of the walking on a hangover, and I had no cigarettes. But it's like if you took all of the Hollywood out of the Indiana Jones experience, whichever park that's in, I forget, and made it historical, interesting, and just as fun and as exciting with some of the water effects at said French park are absolutely stunning. Like, it's astounding to watch them. And there's a show that I don't know, Cynthia will be able to tell you, with when they have like everyone and all of the horses and that the big show that they only have to do.
The Ciné. So it's a light show in the evening, and they have they're everyone that's in the show except for the dancers are volunteers from the villages around the park. And I'm afraid I'm going to say something stupid, but I think there are over 2,000 volunteers every night. Every night.
I didn't think it was every night. I think it's only like seasonal, wasn't it?
In summer, it's every night, and on weekends, it's twice a day.
Wow. Thanks, Kyle.
I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, Kyle, a light show with a cast of 2,000. And they have their own school. They have their own school from K through 12, because in France, you can't, children can't work. And so they have to go to school. And so the school is arranged around the children's schedules. And it's an amazing project from start to finish. And it's an amazing park. I mean, Kyle is totally right. It's a beautiful theme park. It's amazing. And they win Thea awards all the time. They're so good. And they're excellent storytellers. And God, this is like a huge plug for them, but they deserve it. They totally deserve
So,
it.
as we were discussing in the pre-call, the father only texts me. He doesn't want to get involved in the comments. But I've got not every night. They have up to 3,000, including back of house. So, being unsung heroes, we need to give a shout out to the people that aren't actually front and center.
Yeah.
And we have got from Eagles and the bird show at Said French Park onto the main show. I just want to say I'm full on honey badger. That's my spirit animal. That's the one I go for.
Wow. Well, that's rare. That's rare.
Yeah, but then they can take down anything. I just find that something to live up to. And now we need another question. We've gone up so far. Oh, no, we go number 4. Yes, Kelly.
So what do you know now that you wish you could have told yourself when you were starting out in this industry? Let's go back in time and talk to your young self.
Forgive yourself constantly. You're human. It's okay. You'll be fine. You got it.
That was like the sweetest thing there. It was just
that was like so cute. That was full of benevolence, compassion, and cotton. Do you like the billowiness?
There was a lot of love there.
It was.
We should clip that.
Oh, it's true, right? Like we're typically, unless you're a narcissist, we're our own biggest critic. And when you're passionate about what you're doing or what you're creating, I see it all day with the artists that I work with. It's like it's so hard on the mind, and you constantly just have to forgive yourself. And you know what? You can't worry about what other people think about you, or how you think, or where you're at, or what you know, or what you don't know. Like, you have to love you. You have to be okay with you. You have to be okay with your journey. And that's enough. And if they don't like it, that's okay. If they don't feel like it's a good fit, that's okay. If it's okay, just do you.
I think that's great advice for everyone, not just younger Justin.
I take it every day. I try to think about it.
And older Cynthia too.
I mean, little bit touched there. It's one of those little. God, didn't expect that as a answer.
So
yeah,
in your beautiful mind. So, what's one of the things that really does excite you about starting a new project?
I love the blank page. I love the blank page because it's like this opportunity to like. I was gonna say, I'll say what I was gonna say, but I don't want it to be misinterpreted. But it's okay if it's misinterpreted. It's what I was gonna say. It's a way to right wrongs or things that you felt like were missed opportunities, or things that you feel like are worth highlighting or exploring. And it's something that is exciting, and it's not governed by the perception of an audience yet, or of an executive that you have to pitch it in front of it. It's truly your heart and what you think and what you believe. To me, that's the most exciting part of, for me. It's that blank page, putting pen to paper.
I find as a writer, I find that it's daunting for me to get that. You're at the blank page and writing the first word, and getting that first idea. For me, it's daunting and it scares me. And for so many years, I never gave myself the chance to just plow through it, even though I do have a personality that plows through a lot of things. That's hard for me. In the projects that, it's funny, in the projects that I've had, it's the hardest part for me. The blank page, daunting or delightful. Discuss exactly. I would love to have one day where, you know, I have a blank page and I'm like, yeah, blank page. But it's still complicated for me at 49.
What was that noise?
It was visceral. Visceral.
I mean, it could sound, if we clip that, if this was on Twitch and someone could clip that, you could make that a sound effect forever, and everyone would be like, what was happening there? Straight off of Pornhub or something.
So, oh well, come on now.
That was so funny.
So someday I will. Nothing to do with Pornhub, okay? But someday I will. Sorry. Now you've lost
Let's
me.
discuss. Later. With a virtual bar.
Oh my God. Okay. Someday, well, or I can show you now, but someday I will show you. No, it's nothing bad. Someday I'll show you the solution. I'll show you the solution that I have had to save my neighbors from hearing all of my laughs, because I have windows that have little holes in them for ventilation. Mm-hmm. And one day I had my neighbor say, I heard you laughing last night. And that kind of disturbed me. And so I've actually stuffed my ventilation holes with cotton because I just don't like it.
You don't want to hear it.
I mean, Justin, once you've heard, if you're at like a TEA event or something, an industry event, or an IAPA or whatever, you can hear Cynthia across the whole of the mixer or environment if she's laughing.
Hey, who was that? Show yourself.
Show yourself.
We're going to meet you. Frozen reference.
Hey.
Anyway.
Oh my God.
Let's get back on.
It's so good. It's so good.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Let's get back on track. Thank you, Kelly.
Oh my God.
It's your go, Cynthia.
All right. So speaking of your projects, what kind of dream project do you have that you haven't worked on that you really want to work on? Do you have an IP that you really want to work on? Go ahead.
I don't think I've written it yet. I don't think that it exists yet. You know, I think working with someone else's IP is an interesting thing. It has been an interesting thing, used the way that it's been used, which feels in a lot of ways that it's kind of sold short for the sake of trying to deliver a general idea to the masses that maybe they picked up from a television show or from a film. But in many ways, I find that the use of IP has within themed entertainment has been very limiting in its view of the story. Certainly as it relates to stories that have complexity and sophistication, that have the ability to sort of expand out beyond what we've already been introduced to or know. So, you know, the IP question, you know, I don't know. I think it depends on the ability. I think it depends on the story and the ability to work with that story. I don't know.
I love that. I love that. You haven't written your favorite project yet. I think that's beautiful. I do. I think that's really inspiring, actually.
This is why Justin is the perfect guest, though, to come on and be an unsung hero. Because there's a brain and with so many ideas, and it comes out like that. Yes, please. Let's do our last of our big important questions, and then have a bit more of a giggle and see what happens to Cynthia if she falls off a chair or not. So, if you could change something, Justin, about this industry, what would it be? Or what do you think that we're lacking as an entire industry of themed experiences?
Well, I guess maybe through my lens, which is, you know, performance focused, working with performers or guest experience people, front end people who interact with guest visitors. I would say blind casting, implementing blind casting, and maybe what I mean by that is rather than having shows or having front end people that, you know, there's this type of, you know, person, you know, with this sort of personality that, you know, is here doing this thing. I think it's maybe, what if we flipped it on its head? What if it was like, okay, here's sides that you can read for these 8 characters that are going to be within this show or within this area. You can pick to read whichever one that you want, and you come here and you audition for that part specifically. And what we want from you is we want your magic. We want your magic to come through, not only as a performer and the ability to articulate and communicate the lines, but also in the personality and the experiences that you bring naturally to this character that you have selected to read for, and to use that as a selection tool for placing things. Because then you can kind of get rid of things like, you know, race problems with casting, not considering people, you know, who have disability, physical, cognitive, gender, you know, issues. With casting, you just get rid of all that shit, and then you just really kind of focus on the person, their talent, their ability. And if the story is good enough, if the writing is good enough, then if you have the performance, if you have the word, then you have the show. It'd be great, you know. And I think we limit ourselves by putting things in a box where it's like, oh, well, you know, this person has to be like this, and the director wants to see it like this, and it's like, no, the magic is in the people. You know, the magic is what they bring to it that I cannot bring. So I'd probably have to see blind casting.
Blind casting. Yes, Monet Marie agrees with me. So I'm gonna circle around to our prep show, because I've what you said in our prep show was really interesting to me.
It wasn't a show, Cynthia. It was a prep call.
It was a show for me, okay? I mean, it's always a show. I'm like, you guys are entertainment for me. So it's a show that I'm just it's a participative show. All right, let me call it a prep show.
Yeah.
It's a private show for Cynthia.
It's always a show for me. Life
you can't fit the can in the photo. You can't fit it in the frame. And don't put me full screen, Kelly, or there'll be trouble.
So you said something about being called a creative, and then wanting to be called an artist because you felt that there was a difference, and I really liked that difference that you saw. And like, I mean, if you could talk about that here, that would be great.
Yeah. You know, like, I'll say this about being an artist and, you know, like wanting to be known as an artist. On the surface, it's cool, it's glitzy, you know, it sounds chic, but in reality, it's hard. Often, you know, you have to do things that you don't really want to do in order to protect your hopes or your dreams, what it is that you're wanting to continue to explore and to express through your craft. It's a continuous learning process. You know, you just never stop learning as an artist. The challenges are ever changing. But the reason that you do it is because you feel compelled to do so. Like, you feel that there's a piece of you that would not be fulfilled if you did not do these things, if you didn't make yourself uncomfortable, if you didn't spend the money to, you know, go to Berlin for 2 months and try to, you know, immerse yourself in their culture, which something I'd like to do, hopefully, if the pandemic will allow it at the end of this year. So as an artist, you know, it really is just the compelling nature of the creation process. And as a creative, and that's by no means anything less than an artist, it's just a different hat, I would say. As a creative, it's your ability to use your skill, taking an idea that can be yours or something that's given to you, put it into your imagination hopper, and then to interpret that and create that and put that out. So you know, put information in, you process it, you put it out, as opposed to you know, really sort of seeking to ask questions or to look in between the cracks to find new perspectives, which I think is what art does.
An artist looks between the cracks. I really like that idea of an artist doesn't see what we see or what a non-artist sees, and it's something that always has amazed me about artists in every single form of art that there is. You know, from abstract art to modern art to, you know, the Monet and what we do in themed entertainment and themed experiences. I'm so flabbergasted by what people can see, and you know, it's always that, you know, that question on the blue dress or the gold dress or something like that, or the on internet. No one agreed about what color it was.
It was black and it was blue. The end of discussion.
Well, I don't remember what color. I think for me, you know what, honestly, it changed colors for me. Some part of, like, the tennis shoes, there's another one with the tennis shoes. I would look at the tennis shoes, gold. Thank you, David. I would look at the tennis shoes and they wouldn't be gray anymore. They would be pink. And then they would switch back to gray, and I was able to actually, like, my eyes could actually see the different colors. And I was like, this is really weird. No one's talking about being able to see both colors, and just like squinting. I was, you know, like squinting and trying to train my brain, looking at with my left eye and the right. And for me, that's what artists are. They'll see something in a totally different color, or they'll see something that I don't even see. Photographers are like this. I have a friend who's a photographer. God, she's got the eye. Artists have the eye. In French, we say elle a l'œil. She has the eye, and I admire that. And yeah. So that was just my. Emily had a really, really good question. Oh my God. So there you go. Can you talk more about the awesomeness of working on themed entertainment outside of the major hubs?
I hear you.
And she loves that Meow Wolf is spreading the industry all over the country. I totally agree.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Meow Wolf stuff is pretty dope. Mainly because, from my perspective, I very much was a fan prior to getting hired with them, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool and tricky because, you know, sometimes when you're a fan and you get on the inside and you're like, oh, this is a shit show. Woo! Or you can luck out and be like, oh, I get it. It's still can be a shit show, but it's cool. and I see myself in it. Meow Wolf is super cool because well, I was chatting with one of the creative directors a couple months ago, just kind of picking her brain about the history of the organization, and she kind of like directed my attention back to we started kind of talking about performance art from like the 1960s. So you have things like happenings. She brought up Fluxus, the avant-garde art genre of creating like new culture. I love things that position people to create their own sort of understanding within a story world. I would say things like Sleep No More fit that bill. If trying to think what are some other sort of cool things that are out there. Nothing else is coming to mind. Mrs. Claus. Hey, girl. Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get that role to the American role.
Girl.
It's about like my friend. Probably.
It sounds like a cat that's really upset and about to puke.
Girl.
That's what it sounds like.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking, have you guys ever seen the YouTube channel Shit Southern Women Say?
No.
Oh my God. You have to go. You have to see Shit Southern Women Say.
Well, I grew up in the South, so I've heard all the shit they had to say.
It's hilarious. There's a couple.
Kelly, come on screen and say that yourself, and don't profess to be all of us.
I live it. I absolutely live it. It is my life. Justin understands, also being from the South. This is our life.
Yeah. It's hilarious. So I'm from Los Angeles, and I don't know why I'm talking about this, but anyway, one of the things that I almost peed in my pants. I laughed so hard. And oh, bless his heart. That was one of them. Mm-hmm. Oh, bless his heart. And the other one is, she's so skinny she could hula hoop through a Cheerio.
Ooh. The shade.
There's a Sarah.
Sarah.
Hi, everyone. Our new
production assistant. This is her first show. We're so excited to have her. She's making
because we're unsung heroes, we like to make sure our own team get to say hi as much as possible.
Yes.
Are Definitely. We going to hit up our fun questions?
Yeah. So
should we roll through them thick and fast, or just see how far we get? We've got time. We've got time to go through most of them, I reckon.
Yes.
So, because this is Unsung Heroes, Justin, if you could have a superpower, what would it be? We're not going to get through all of them.
we are.
I think maybe I would love to have the ability to fly. I often kind of dream about it. I think having the ability to just fly and be free, truly.
I wish I knew how it would feel to be free.
Sing it, girl.
Yeah.
I did not read these ahead of time, though. So I was like, what is...
Yeah, you have no idea where these are going, and they go all over the place.
Yes, they do. All right. Do you know the Little Miss or Little Mister characters, the books?
I think so. Or there was a little like round.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Little Miss or Little Mister. They have character traits.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you be, Little Miss or Little Mister, or what? Generally, it's your a bad character trait.
Like you get Mr. Clumsy, Mr. Happy. There's the tickly one. There's all kinds. So
Mr. Silly.
Like it? Yes.
Mr. Silly.
Love it.
Oh, now I'm going to ask the American. Like we've got two in one question, and I don't really know because, like, Guinness or Bud.
As in Budweiser.
Yes.
No. I thought that was meant to be like Bud Light or whatever that cheap American alcoholic lemonade is called.
Bud or Bud Light, Budweiser or Bud Light, same. It's the same thing.
It's the same difference. I'd probably have to. I'm quite surprised that I don't like Guinness more. But I don't necessarily like. Well, and then that part too. Bud means something else in Colorado. And it's all from the earth, and it's all good.
Yes,
I would probably have to say Budweiser, but if I had to choose between
Budweiser's fine. Bud Light is the wrong answer. And then like we've got in the same question. Like I don't understand this. Soft shell taco or hard shell taco?
Oh, definitely a hard shell taco. I love hard shell taco. Yo, I used to get down at Taco Bell with when it was like the $59, $79, $99. Do y'all remember that commercial? $59, $79, $99. Get the taco.
No.
As far as I understand it from American culture, all
sorry.
that Taco Bell gives you is the shits. So I'm not interested in eating any of it.
Well, it's good going down, rough coming out.
It does not. It's the cheapest. It's the cheapest way to eat in the States, or at least in California and the Western states. It's not that bad. I mean, it never gave me the runners.
No.
It's all right.
It was tasty.
I could go into a TMI there, and I'd imagine my parents are literally very worried, but we won't.
Hi, David.
Hi, David. Hi, Mom. I don't know why I call your mom and David.
Because Lynn has his legs, isn't it?
Yes, Lynn is a leg. She is a licensed EME groupie. Thanks, Monai. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Monai. I don't know.
Yes.
Yes, every day is a show for me. Monet. I'm sorry. Thank you, Kelly Monet. Emily, Taco Bell does get a bad rap. Anyway. I'm going to go to TV show. If you were stuck in a TV show for a month, what show would you pick?
I think I would pick Bridgerton.
Woo! Oh, yes!
Yes, all that opulence and sex and beauty.
And who would you be playing?
And scandal. I mean, I'd play me.
That's cool. That's
me.
I'd play me, and I almost spat my drink out of that.
Lord Justin of the Stucey.
Yes. Where did she come from? Look at the cave. Absolutely. Shonda Rhimes. I'm a huge Shonda Rhimes fan, so feel free to write me in, girl. Write me in. I got you.
Awesome.
Oh, man.
We're just plugging Shonda Rhimes, so maybe hey, that may be your next product.
Yes.
Project. Absolutely.
Justin, next question: McDreamy or McSteamy?
Both, but I might switch the order. Y'all are bringing out that other side of me. Y'all are so funny.
Chris, you won't watch Bridgerton?
I don't understand it. I don't like period. I don't like period anything.
It's like period. It's fantasy. but it uses like period pieces to flesh out the story. But
the fantasy for me involves magic, guns, and swords. Like you pick one. And I'm all involved. Mostly magic, I've got to say.
I love
what I love about Bridgerton is actually the music and hearing the classical rendition of Bad Boy by Billie Eilish.
Yes.
That just blew my mind. The score just, I love it. And it takes me a while to like, oh my God, I'm listening. This is, oh my goodness. I love it. I think it's hilarious. That is so true. Now, don't stop. Don't start making fun of my laugh.
I'm gonna entrap Ariel soon, and
listen, I can go on vibrator mode. If you want me to go on vibrator mode, I can go on vibrator mode. Okay, I cannot make any noise when I'm laughing.
We don't need people. No.
We're not going vibrator mode on this show. We are not. No one needs that. All right.
Carry on.
Gracious. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. If your life was like Seinfeld, what character would you be?
Let's see. If my life is like Seinfeld, probably like Kramer.
You need to help Chris. Who's Kramer? Because Chris is just like
the quirky weirdo.
I don't think you're weird.
Y'all don't because y'all are weird, but like said with love. Like I think weird is wonderful.
Weird is wonderful.
Weird is wonderful. Marches to a beat of his own drum, and he dresses the way he dresses. He thinks the way he thinks. He's got his energy. Pow!
That was quick.
That's my food.
Yeah,
so if you were to ride into battle on an animal, what would it be?
An elephant.
A unicorn on an elephant.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
No, that's it. I just decided that I'd make you a unicorn and put your spirit animal on top of an elephant. I thought that's an interesting mental picture.
That's very that's kind of crazy to consider.
It would look majestic as fuck. Let's be honest.
Like, what is that? What's up there? Is that a unicorn? All right.
And then, literally a whole show effects team with all of the fans and so the wind and the mane is going and it's all fabulous. It'd be amazing.
I love it.
I totally see you doing that. Just saying, it'd be fun. If you were on the game show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And you could have anyone on the planet as your phone a friend, who would it be?
It would probably be my friend Jason King. Because he's very smart. He's a knower of many things. He's a scholar. And I'd call Jason. Jason, are you watching? No, probably not. He's probably working.
Are you watching? Probably not.
No, Jason King, a knower of many things.
Knower of many things, yeah.
I like that one. That one got my ear. Next one. Go for it, Chris.
I'm thinking. I think I know the answer already.
Oh shit.
If you were in Friends, which one would you be?
Friends. Oh, it's been so long since I've seen Friends. Okay, so I watched Friends, but I wasn't a huge Friends person. I didn't really get into Friends like that.
Oh, neither did I. I was forced to watch it a lot. I didn't really enjoy it.
I didn't really watch Friends like that.
I'll replace the question then, and we'll skip it, and I'll do a different one. Because he didn't answer, Cynthia, it's still my turn.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to actually rebound and say, if you could remove a character from the Friends cast, which one would it be?
God, Ross, straight away. The cringe that comes out of Ross in that TV show is the reason I can't watch it. Oh. Yeah, he has got to go. He's terrible. Right. So I'm just going to switch the question up, Justin. So you've got 24 hours to make yourself the "and finally" story on tomorrow's 6 o'clock news. What do you do?
I
want to know what that was.
I live 3 blocks from the capital of Colorado, so strip off all my clothes, run up to the top of the Capitol like Rocky Balboa, do my little happy dance, have Caleb capture my video, and get the hell out of there. And some black man ran to the Capitol, and you don't know who he was or why.
Wow. Okay. Justin, we have a question from someone in the audience. So we're gonna take a break from the silly questions and go into a more serious question. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And how do you see the themed entertainment industry changing after COVID?
In 10 years, whoa. If I haven't learned anything in the past year, it's that all you can do is put one foot in front of the other. But if I were to hope for something in 10 years, it would hopefully still be creating experiences for the public. I would like to do it on a larger scale. I think that's just to have an opportunity to have more people to be able to connect with one another. My buddy Rodrigo, who is watching, he works with the Olympics on the production side. He has a really cool job and does really amazing things with them. I think it would be amazing to be on a creative team for the Olympics. That'd be kind of dope. Themed entertainment. What was the question about the themed entertainment piece?
How do you see the themed entertainment industry changing after COVID?
I think that's a great question, and I think it's going to be up to all of us to shape that. I think it's going to be up to us to sort of identify, what has not existed pre-COVID. Would we be okay with losing from pre-COVID and creating new experiences, new engagement opportunities, introducing new ideas into themed entertainment, so that it is not like the doors have been closed and then they're reopened to the same thing, but that the experiences are much more immersive and emotionally connecting and personalized. That's what I hope for, and culturally rich. I think not shying away from culture and taking chances on telling cultural stories and allowing people to get up close and personal, not necessarily just with, show sets and costumes, but really with people and their lives and their stories. Yeah.
That's cool. I hope that it looks like that, not in 10 years, but really quickly after COVID, definitely. Jessica Williams has a silly question.
Oh, Jessica.
What's your go-to karaoke song? And I have a follow-up question to that.
Kelly, let's have that in the list. How do we not have that?
I had the time of my life. I love that song. I need the words. I'll stop. That's why I need the words karaoke, but I love that song. Flash
And
dance?
have you ever sung it with Jessica Williams?
I haven't, but I know Jessica, and Jessica, we need to do it. She's a great singer, so I think it'd work out. She'd do the harmony.
So we need that somehow to be good. So TETV now needs some sort of submittal process that we can then have these videos come in, and we're going to be like, we finally got a video of Justin singing "I've Had the Time of My Life."
Yes, that would be so
With
much
all
fun.
of the choreography as well, Justin.
Yes, that the arm and
The
Yes! Patrick Swayze. Oh my gosh.
yes, there you go. All right, that's cool.
It's the knee spinning that does it when he gets down in the aisle and he's coming back up again. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, anyway, I'm off on a whole different ball game now on brain. So right, I've got this isn't even on the list as well. So this is new to Cynthia as well. So I'll set the scene. You've been sent back in time to Dallas on the 21st of November, 1963. I'll let that register for a second before I carry on. The day before JFK was killed.
Is that when JFK got?
You must prevent the assassination. What do you do? I have some extra points. You must survive, and you are also a cat.
Oh,
Go.
I love you, Chris.
That's not mine. I'm stealing it from a show we have in the UK. And I laughed for a good 5 minutes straight on reading that hearing that question, thinking I don't understand.
Do y'all remember there was this picture that kind of floated around social media? I think it was this cute little dog, and there was this parade. I think it was in a Spanish country, and this cute little dog is walking down the center of the street, and there was all these people that lined the street, and it was where is he going? In this parade, he was just doing his thing. I mean, I'd probably do something like that. I'd sort of stop traffic in such a way that it made the caravan come to a pause, and hopefully, intelligence would be on their stuff and they'd be able to catch whoever it was that took one of our greatest thinkers. That's my dude. That's him. Yes. Look at me. Stop behind me.
Kelly and Sarah, you guys are awesome. I don't know how you guys do it. I'm amazed. I am amazed. You are on the gun. It's wonderful. It's so awesome. I have a question that's not on the list, huh? Thanks, Chris. Mwah. I think it's a really difficult question for an artist to answer. But would you, if you had to lose one of your senses, which one would it be?
My sight.
Your sight. Why?
Because there is so much that is lost in translation because people don't listen. And if it allows me
answer every time you ask Justin a question.
No, I'm serious. It's something. If I were to lose that, and it pushes more attention and more information to what I'm able to hear and then interpret and think, I think it would probably be really fascinating, leading a creative team, inspiring them or directing their focus in a certain way, simply due to what I've heard and what I'm hearing, and using that to sort of channel the creative energy behind the project. Listen.
Mind
blown.
Justin, I think we can't get it any better than what you just said, and it's amazing for me to have the opportunity to interview people like you and give you guys the platform to share your insight. And because we did this show because we felt like there's so much insight and so much inspiration out there, and there's just it's getting lost in translation in this industry. And I really wanted to give these unsung heroes a platform. And I'm getting kind of teary-eyed ish because you are so much why I wanted to do this show, and everything that you have said tonight for us, today for you, is God, so inspiring. And thank you for just letting us pick your brain and giving us so much love and compassion and showing us how good it can be when that is what inhabits you. And so thank you, really, thank you so much.
A unique and beautiful perspective. And before we leave, we can't be finishing without my final question. Justin, you have to wear a hat for the rest of your life. You don't get to say why you're wearing it or for what reason or whatever, but you have to pick a hat to wear for the rest of your life. And these are the hats.
Ooh, this might be the hardest question yet. I'm going to say the black top hat.
I can only side hat the top hat because my head is massive, unfortunately. So I have to pick the little one. But yes, the top hat. Why? You can tell us why. You can't tell anyone else ever. Why would you pick the top hat over the cute little cowboy one?
It's the quintessential tool of magicians. I've been studying magic for a few years.
So magic, not gentlemen. I love it.
Nice.
It chose the top hat, yeah. Kelly and her yalls.
Exactly. That I totally see you in that hat, Justin, and it's
it would be so cool because I have actually looked at whether you can ship and get the right ones to turn up at the right people for the right time for the show. So that I can pass the hat through the camera and then they can magically put it on their head. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be.
That'd be cool.
Work on that trick though.
Yeah, that's some serious magic there, Justin.
That would
and
be
imagine some costs
cool
as well.
So, unless there are some questions in the chat, Justin, would you like to say some? Would you like to end with something? Would you? The floor is open before we end.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say thank you, for the opportunity to kind of, share my story, to chat with y'all, laugh with y'all. I was a little nervous about doing this because I just try to talk from my heart, and sometimes it's irreverent, or sometimes it comes out weird, or it doesn't make sense, and it's like hey, that's me, is what you get. So I appreciate the opportunity to just be here with y'all and have this dialogue. It's been fun.
It has been, and we're lucky to have you again. So before we end, please like the show, like TETV, follow TETV, because there are so many great shows on the channel, and we've just got so many things coming for you. New shows this month. Subscribe, and we're trying to get everyone on that has something to say. And in our next show in 2 weeks, we will have MJ White. She's got a middle name, and I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to adventure pronouncing that.
Quarrels, isn't it?
Quarrels,
That's a guess.
help us. She will be
That's
our guest.
Yeah, I was going to say purely because I watch a TV show and I've just finished it again for the second time, Justified, where one of the bad guys has that name, that has the surname. So I'm like, I think I know that.
I've only said MJ, so MJ will be on our.
MJ can tell us.
Yes, MJ is an unsung hero that is working with us on TETV, and we're really excited to have her too. Justin, thank you so much, and I can't wait to go to Meow Wolf and see everything that you're doing in Denver, in Vegas, in Santa Fe, and thank you for being a part of this world.
Love y'all. Appreciate it.
Love y'all too. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great day, evening, night, morning, wherever you are in the world, and make the world a better place, and go hug a hero.